Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming along and supporting what I'm sure is going to be a fascinating debate. Interested to hear that your CII up here has a Twitter handle. BIBA has a Twitter handle. We're very active on the social media. One of the problems with social media is that you often get misunderstood. We've had a number of young women bombard our Twitter feed thinking that we're Justin Bieber. So if there is anybody in the audience tonight expecting to hear what Justin Bieber thinks about Scottish independence, I'm sorry, you're going to be a little bit disappointed. No. The campaign for Scottish Home Rule began in earnest almost as soon as unification with England took place in 1707. At the time, the view was that Scotland was desperate for cash, but opponents of the move were outraged by claims that the Scots who put their names to the Act of Union were bribed. The episode moved Scotland's bard, Robert Burns, to write, "We are bought and sold for English gold, such a parcel of rogues in our nation." BIBA, the British Insurance Brokers Association, represents the interests of its insurance broker and intermediary members and their customers. Insurance brokers and intermediaries play a crucial role in the identification, quantification and mitigation of risk, allowing individuals to insure their cars and possessions, and for businesses to transfer financial risks off their balance sheets and onto insurers. BIBA has around 2,000 corporate insurance broking and intermediary members, of which around 100 are based in Scotland. Of the approximately 3,500 insurance broking and intermediary firms in the UK, we believe around 5% are based in Scotland. The latest edition of The Broker magazine contains an article on independence. It sets out the views of both Danny Alexander, Chief Secretary to the UK Treasury, and John Swinney, Cabinet Secretary for Sustainable Growth in the Scottish Government. If you haven't seen the article, I do commend it to you. The magazine can be read and printed from our website, but if you would just like the article itself, drop me an email, ceo@biba.org.uk, and I'll send it to you, whether you're a BIBA member or not. Please feel free to come forward. So that's ceo@biba.org.uk if you would like that article. BIBA is an apolitical body. We have no formal position. What we do have, which I believe makes us far from unique, are far more questions than answers. However, BIBA has concerns that we feel need to be considered in the event of a yes vote. These include, and very topically, currency. You'll all be aware, obviously, of the debate around Scotland's continued use of sterling or possible use of the euro. Not a day goes by without further comment on this issue, but being based in London, you'll perhaps forgive me if my comments reflect what is printed down south. And I had to draw the line on writing and typing this out, and I haven't got round to analysing Alex Salmon's comments from yesterday, but I'm sure the panel will be holding those up to the microscope and discussing those with you later on this evening. I think a key consideration here is the extent to which an independent Scotland would be able to choose. George Osborne was quoted as saying 10 days ago that sterling cannot be treated like a CD collection after a messy divorce. The new governor of the Bank of England, Mark Carney, a Canadian with direct experience of these issues during the Quebec independence debate, is far from convinced that an independent Scotland could retain use of sterling. And regarding using the euro, there are established requirements which, if I understand the situation correctly, make it far from certain that this could be a realistic option in the short to medium term. Indeed, European Commission President José Manuel Barroso has cast doubt on Scotland's membership of the European Union following a yes vote. He said it would be, and I quote, "extremely difficult, if not impossible, for an independent Scotland to join, and that it would have to apply for membership and get the approval of all current member states." Furthermore, HM Treasury published its 11th paper in its Scotland analysis series last week, which included assessing the currency situation. It concludes, and I quote, "The UK is one of the most successful monetary, fiscal and political unions in history. The current arrangements bring significant benefits to Scotland. Taxation, Spending, monetary policy and financial stability policy are coordinated across the whole UK to the benefit of all parts of the UK. Risks are pooled, and the UK has a common insurance against uncertainty. It goes on. A sterling currency union would create great challenges to both an independent Scotland and the continuing UK. Within a sterling currency union, an independent Scotland state would find it more difficult to adjust to the effects of economic challenges, such as a fall in the global price of oil, for example, than Scotland is able to as part of the UK. In turn, the continuing UK would become exposed to much greater fiscal and financial risk from a separate state, creating risks for continuing UK taxpayers. The subsequent experience of the euro area in the financial crisis highlights the challenges of creating a durable currency union. It then concludes, this analysis concludes that in the event of a vote for independence, the Treasury would advise the UK government against entering into a currency union. Now, John Swinney's article that I referred to earlier makes reference to what he calls a sterling area monetary zone. A number of areas that would need to be considered and addressed would be impacted by such a zone. The first of these is the regulatory structure. It is likely that most Scottish insurance brokers will want and need to conduct business with clients and trading partners in the rest of the UK. This could very well necessitate these firms having to deal with two regulators, two sets of rules and fees, etc., etc., plus the pain of getting a new regulatory infrastructure agreed, established, and up and running. Any new structure is likely to involve the establishment of alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, probably in the form of an independent ombudsman. It is also likely that a customer compensation scheme akin to the UK's Financial Services Compensation Scheme would need to be created, not easily done overnight, I would suggest. For general insurance intermediaries, most relevant EU directives are of the minimum harmonisation variety, thus allowing member states the ability to go beyond the directive requirements where they feel it necessary. The ability to do this is exercised by the Financial Conduct Authority and could lead to a situation where Scottish brokers and customers are exposed to an unlevel playing field in directive interpretation. This could have implications for things like scope, so who is regulated and how, professional requirements, and perhaps commission disclosure, to name but a few. The increasing cost of complying with two different regulators, different contract law. There is no guarantee in an independent Scotland there will be a new contract law that would be compatible both with what we have in England plus what's been developed in Europe. Different tax regimes. A different approach to insurance premium tax and VAT could cause competitive and administrative burdens for firms in an independent Scotland. There could be a loss of markets, competition, choice, as some firms may decide not to trade cross-border. SME brokers coping with trading cross-border where they have never done it before, an increasing burden, training costs, compliance costs, etc. And investment in Scotland could be negatively impacted as SME brokers choose not to open new Scottish branches due to dual regulation and the above issues. Now, I said right at the start that BIBA is apolitical. We have no position on independence. Personally, I'm a Londoner, I'm English, I'm British, and I'm European. And I value all four of those. However, I am first and foremost a fervent supporter and believer in democracy. So the will of the people must take priority. So let there be an informed debate. Thank you.